Right now, let's talk some Mariners. 6-5 winners over the Orioles last
Seahawks,
night.
actually. We're going to get Seahawks. Start telling me we're here, baby. We're here. This is it. This is prime time.
Well, let's stay with the football. I'm getting all excited here. Let's stay with the football. Seahawks, we saw some guys out here today that we didn't really expect to see too much of. Zach Charbonnet, one of those guys, coming off that torn ACL he suffered in the playoff game against the 49ers. And, Chris, it's kind of cool to see him out here and ahead of schedule because Mike McDonald, head coach, was optimistic and very pleased and impressed with how fast Zach is coming back from this.
It's a 3-day mandatory minicamp. There's not a lot of buzz that you're going to get from these camps, but that was the buzz during day one, Paul. A lot of people, it was right behind us, actually. Zach Charbonnet right out of the gates, getting in some work. It was great. Everybody's like, oh, my gosh, he's ahead of schedule. He's ahead of schedule. And that was the word we're going to hear from Mike McDonald a little bit later on today. He'll kind of let us know if he is ahead of schedule. So that was a good sign. On the other side of the field, you have tight end A.J. Barner. We heard from him yesterday on the Ultimate Seattle Sports Show how he's getting back. So to see him also working out, that was a good sign. And then also Jackson Smith-Njigba, the number one wide receiver. I'm excited for Warren Moon to kind of break down JSN's game. He was on the field looking sharp with the wide receiver crew. And we actually asked JSN, okay, you've won a Super Bowl. You were spectacular in the Rose Bowl. You had over 5,000 receiving yards as a high school player. You have done it all, JSN. Offensive Player of the Year. What motivates you? And here's JSN.
Really, the process, honestly. When I said last year, process over results, that's something that we live by, and it's something that I want to perfect and grow. And as a player and as a person, the off season's great. Like I say, each year the off season's great to just for me grow as a person and a player. And there's a lot of work to be done. So just understanding that and reaching for that goal is something that keeps me on track and motivated. It's been great. I mean, we're all here learning. All the guys. We're excited to be back and learn together and be together and figure this thing out. And it's been awesome. I think everybody's kind of understanding what we want to become, and it's been great to get on the field and get back with my guys and put it on tape and go over it. So we love to do that, and it's the start of the new season.
Well, we told you this is a big show today, and it's great to have this man right here. Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon joining us. He threw for nearly 50,000 yards in the NFL, another 22,000 in the CFL, 5-time Grey Cup champ, Hall of Famer, of course. I mean, Chris and I were talking about
legend Rose Bowl.
Seriously, we're like, we could spend a whole hour introducing Warren Moon, but we're going to get right to listen, man. It's
He's
great
bigger
to
in
see
Edmonton than Wayne Gretzky, Paul. That's how big.
I don't know about that. Wayne's pretty big.
He doesn't even believe that, Chris. Well, man, how you been doing? How's everything treating you?
I've been great. Just busy with life, and I have a big family now. I have 11 grandkids, and of course my 5 kids. I have a son over at the University of Washington playing football, and so that keeps me really, really busy as far as being involved in all their lives, and then also all the different things that I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I loved watching him, Paul. We'd go over the Bellevue High School football games, and we'd watch his son, lining up out there. He's just a dad in the stands. Happens to be a Hall of Famer, but just a proud dad watching your son, and I'm excited to see him over at the University of Washington.
Yeah, so am I. He's maybe get some more time this year, and he's really learning the position because he was a running back at Bellevue, but he was more of a defensive guy. He was Defensive Player of the Year, but he wanted to stay on the offensive side of the ball, so he's going through the learning process, and hopefully he'll get some more time this year.
All right, let's stay on the offensive side of the ball for the Seahawks because we want you to kind of I know you follow these guys and you keep your eye on the NFL, the NFC West, of course, but JSN, as we talked about on this show, he's really something. And as a Hall of Fame quarterback, you had to appreciate having a guy like that running the right routes, a guy you could trust, and a guy you could trust to catch the ball.
Yeah, really. He comes from a great background at Ohio State. They know how to coach receivers there. They've had a ton of them come into the NFL. I played with one of them in Chris Carter at Minnesota for a number of years, and he led the league in receptions a couple of different times in the Hall of Fame. So he comes from a great background of receivers, and I love the way he runs his routes. You know, he really never lets you know exactly what he's doing. He has great body chemistry. He can lure the defensive back one way, thinking one thing, but all of a sudden he's going another direction. And it's something that him and Sam have really created a great relationship in a short period of time. So you want to have that type of receiver that you know who you can go to in key situations. You know what he's going to do against different coverages, and that's a great luxury to have for a quarterback.
And we talked with JSN yesterday, and he mentioned that, Warren, about just the relationship with Sam, and this is actually just year 2 for these two. How key is that to have a full training camp together?
Well, it is key, you know, because, again, they can work on different things that they might want to work on, special routes, you know, double move routes, different things that they really haven't had a chance to work on those first couple of years. And then they'll just get refined at the other things that they've already gotten pretty good at. So he's going to see all different types of coverages because everybody's going to try and take him away. And that's something you want to work on in practice as well. How do we beat double coverages? Even though you're getting double sometimes, there are ways to beat double coverage. You just have to have worked on it in practice.
17 seasons in the NFL, another 6 up north in the CFL. Played a lot of football, played for a lot of head coaches, Warren. Mike McDonald has only been here 2 years, won a Super Bowl in his second year. What makes him so good at what he does?
I think he really loves what he does, first of all. He really puts a lot of time into it. I mean, a lot of people say he doesn't spend a whole lot of time at home. He spends most of his time in this building. He just puts a lot of dedication to his craft, and he really believes in what he believes in. He's coached behind some really good coaches in the Harbaughs, one at Michigan, one at Baltimore, and he's got a good foundation. So he knows exactly what he wanted to do as a coach when he finally got his turn to do it, and he really came in here and created a culture in a very quick time. And I think he brought in some really good veteran players to help him create that culture too, and that really helped.
You mentioned create a culture, and I'll go back to Jason for the last time, and this goes back to Paul having his one-on-ones with the coach, and he talks about running it forward. Win the Super Bowl, we're not going to celebrate, we'll put the trophy up, the banner up, but it's run it forward. Here was Jackson Smith and Jigba yesterday talking about that culture from head coach Mike McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome mindset. You know, Coach Mike McDonald, you know, brought it to the team, and you know that's what we're rolling with. That's who we are, and that's what we're standing on. And I think it's just an awesome mindset to have. You know, these banners. You know, it's great to see our names and to see, you know, what we've done here, you know, in the last year, and you know we want to move it forward and you know build and evolve, you know, with this new team and new circumstances that we're looking forward to.
All right, Warren, easier said than done for this organization just to run it forward and just move it, you know, just like, hey, you know, last year was fun, but but that seems to be the mentality you have to have.
That's what you have to have. And, you know, I've been on a lot of championship teams, and the next year after you win a championship, now all of a sudden you're not the one that's hunting. You're the one that's being hunted by everybody. You're going to be everybody's biggest game on their schedule. You're going to have to come at a certain level of intensity every time you play, because there's not going to be any off weeks for you because you are the champion and everybody wants to knock you off. So that's something the Seahawks have to get used to this year, that they're going to have to come with it each and every week and know that they're going to get every team's best.
Take us back to your playing days. When, you know, how tough is that to go out on the practice field time after time? Like I said, you did it for 17 seasons and buy in every year.
Yeah, it's something that you take a lot of pride in. You want to be a repeat champion if you can, and a lot goes into that. You know, you have to have really good health, you know, not a lot of injuries, you know, just things have to kind of bounce your way. The close games that you won the year before, maybe you don't win those. So you have to try and win those games somehow, because there's always going to be those number of games that come right down to the end. Do you win those games or do you lose them? And that could be the difference between you winning the division, or that could be the difference between you losing a playoff game. So those are the type of things you have to really work on, the little things, as you get ready for that repeat championship season.
They're getting ready to take the practice field for a second day. A lot of the same faces, Warren, are going to be out there. There are, you know, got the rookies out there, but a new offensive coordinator in Fleury. As a quarterback that worked with many different head coaches and offensive coordinators, what should we expect there with the transition?
I've worked with a lot of different coordinators over the course of my career, and I think with Sam, because Brian comes from San Francisco, I think there's a lot of similarities. You know, Sam was in San Francisco for a year, so he kind of knows what that system is. He was in Minnesota, which is kind kind of similar to what they're doing too. So I don't think it'll be a big drop-off as far as the learning curve that he has to learning a new offense. I think they'll keep a lot of the same things they've been doing here. Why wouldn't you? Because it's been successful. But he'll add his own wrinkles to it as well. Some of the things they did in San Francisco that are very clever, that give those defensive guys a lot of eye candy to look at because of all the movement and different things they like to do. So I think he'll add some of that to this offense.
Defensive side of the ball, there's so many veterans on that side, so many great leaders on that side. But you get a guy like Leonard Williams and that defensive line. When you see guys like D-Law, Williams playing in their early 30s, playing that rugged position, that really tells you something about the human being.
It really does. And those guys are still motivated to play at a high level, and they're really good leaders. And it's good to have guys, especially your interior guys, be the guys that are leaders on your defense. To go along with Ernest Jones at the linebacker position, it's just a really talented defense. And now they just have to get Witherspoon signed up, and they'll get that secondary back in line as well. And this defense, I think, will be right back where it was last year, if not even better, because they'll just have one more year in the system, one more year playing together as a group.
I know we're going to, in the next segment, break down a little bit on Eamon and what he means to this team, but overall defense puts you in your prime, back in your days. You're the Hall of Fame quarterback. You're gearing up for Mike McDonald and the Seahawks. How do you even attack this defense?
Yeah, it's a difficult defense because he runs so many different looks. He gives you a lot of different pressures from a lot of different areas, so your head has got to always be on a swivel. And as a quarterback, you've got to be able to get the ball out of your hand quickly and recognize what they're trying to do to you. So there's different locators you look at to try and see when those things are going to happen, but those don't always play well either because they disguise things so very well. So it's a great defense for a reason, and a quarterback has to really be on top of his game in order to be successful against it.